Hello and welcome to the Synergy CNC channel. Today in this project we're going to be looking at the construction of cabinets. So I've got this smaller one that we've constructed just so you can sort of see what we're going to be doing throughout this video. But essentially we're going to be looking at constructing cabinets. This is going to be a face frame finished product. The material we're going to use is a Finsa, so it's obviously pre-veneered. Now, what we are going to be mainly concentrating on is the fixtures and fittings and how we're going to use the FS 8x4 CNC router to effectively machine everything so we can have finished panels off the machine. The only thing we're going to be missing is obviously the location points on the front for the Clamexes we're going to be using to hold on the face frame, but we should have all the doors, pocket holes, everything we're going to have like that in place. Now, with this cabinet here, what you will see is we have the Lamellos. These are the Lamello Cabineo, and they've also got the studded insert. These are currently on the inside of this cabinet. Now, the cabinet we're going to be doing is going to be a full height kitchen cabinet. It's going to comprise a run of 2.4 meters. Personally, I don't want to be able to see the Lamellos when I open the cabinet door. The material we're going to be using is almost a walnut, it's quite dark, and these bright white Lamellos are going to stand out pretty bold on that. So we're going to actually machine the Lamellos onto the outside face of our material. So in the video, in the drawing, what we'll do is we'll set it up, we'll show you how we would construct this, we'll go through in detail different tips, tricks and sort of presets that you can do. Obviously we'll then move on to the actual runtime, the manufacture, and then we will assemble and then finally review anything we could have done better, anything we thought went exceptionally well. But one thing I would like to highlight before we do start, because we're going to have a run of these cabinets and the face frame, we're going to have essentially a series of boxes next to each other. So when we have our hinge positions, obviously it needs to be on the inside, but we're talking about our Lamellos being on the outside. That would naturally leave us with having to rotate the board over or do it in two operations. Now, we want to minimize as much wasted, unneeded downtime or setup time as we can. So everything we're cutting is going to be cut with a 5mm diameter single flute upcut tool, and everything is going to be cut from one side. Now, how we're going to do that, we're actually going to cut from the outside, and we're going to through cut all of our pilot holes. Because everything is butted up next to another cabinet, you're not going to see anything from the outside. So to save a drastic amount of setup time, we could do everything from one face, so the Lamellos are on the back, the holes come straight through, and then off the machine we have our finished product. Before we start this project, what we're going to do is we're going to skim the bed. We want to make sure that we have as much accuracy as possible. We use a MDF sacrifice board, so naturally over time, MDF being hygroscopic, we're going to get a bit of movement. This one's not been skimmed for about a month. Before I do any project, it's the first thing I like to do. So I'm going to send the machine home, I'm going to set it off, skim it, and then going to make sure the machine's fully cleaned down before we start this project. Over here we have our our front view of what it's going to look like. So we have a pantry style cupboard here, drawer through here, fridge sits in there, another cupboard to form 3 doors, and then one big pull-out drawer to utilise the space. In this video we're going to concentrate on making this one here, which obviously is that panel there. These are going to be a face frame, so each carcass is also gapped by 18mm, give us a nice thick face frame. The doors are then obviously set inside the frame. We also have top boxes there. Now, I've got my front view sketch, and we're going to generate everything we need to know in hopefully as short time as possible. So we know these are the right height, so what I can do is simply just go into there and edit them. The only thing it hasn't got is depth. As we're working in plan view, that's become my width. I know for this unit, it's a bit of a bizarre size, but it's 460 deep. So we have our left panel. Again, on the top, modify that one. So that one is 460. And then we also have our shelf panel. I'm going to modify that so it is again 460. So we have all the panels that we need to work on, and then we can simply obviously copy and paste out multiples of those. So in here we're going to need our Lamello fittings pre-drilled, as well for the shelf and for the top and bottom. For the top and bottom we use a studded insert with the Lamello Cabineo. With the shelves we're going to use the Cabineo X. Face frame will be with the Clamex. So looking solely at our left panel. So the easiest way to do it is to create yourself some construction lines. I'm then going to say that on here, we're going to build a series of construction lines that are going to match something. Now I can mathematically work that out, or simply what I can do is I can take my panel and I can line it up along here. So what I can do is I can project lines out from the centers. Obviously, if we're using a model, all of this data would be in the model. But we're going to assume we're running with no prior experience of SketchUp or any other sort of software that's capable of doing this bit for you. So we're going to do it as if you've just bought the machine and you need to be operational. So there we have the lines coming that way. Now, obviously our shell is going to have them in, so we're going to go for a line at 100 millimeters. Projected that way. 100 millimeters this way. In there, we're going to pop a 5 millimeter pilot hole. Change my layer. So that has all of the holes we need for the shelves, or shelves. So we're going to bring in one Cabineo that we've already drawn from our kind of like our repository file, which got a load of standard drawings, okay? And then we can very simply drop that on the center, hold down my control key, we can drop that on the center. Now, two methods here. I can either drop on the center again. Alternatively, what we could do is mirror it out. So we can just select that one, select the line, mirror that to the right. There we have our Cabineos at the top. We no longer need these construction lines, so they can go. Snap the center, select that. And again, we are going to mirror that to the bottom. And then my Cabineos are all in the correct place.